Okay, so for our stats final, we decided to do have you ever cheated on a test? And we decided to test if there was a significant difference in the number of people who will admit to something based on how they were asked.
So for our survey, we had three. We had three different survey methods. Survey method number 1 was having a student ask the question. Survey method number 2 was having a teacher ask the question. And number 3 was a paper survey. And we wanted to see if there would be a difference in the proportion of people who admit to cheating with the different methods. So to get all of our data, we collected data through Beaver Lodge classes. We collected data in freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior classes, so that we accurately represented our population of high schoolers.
Okay, bias. We noticed a couple maybe biases. First of all was that people might not have been honest with the test, they might not have trusted it, and we had a specific example when someone asked a student, have you ever cheated on a test? And they said no, and then after they wrote it all down, the student was like, yes I have, I just didn't want to get in trouble. And we don't know how many times that could have happened. And then the other one is that the teacher that we had go around asking everyone was very young looking, and she might have been confused with the student.
So our data we collected. At the end, so we had over 350 surveyed students that we collected data from. And the proportion of students who said they've cheated on a test when asked by a student, the proportion of people that said yes was 68.3%. And when asked by a teacher, the proportion that said yes was 52%, so it was only 4% more than the people that answered no. And when asked via survey, the proportion of people that admitted to cheating on a test was 68.9%.
Okay, so for our first test, we did a 2-proportion z-test. And our null hypothesis was that the proportion of students saying yes to cheating when asked by a student is equal to the proportion of students that say yes to cheating when asked by a teacher. And then our alternative hypothesis was that the students would say yes more when they were asked by a student than a teacher. And we did our plan and our do, and then we rejected the null hypothesis because significance that level was greater than the p-value that we found, so there's a significant difference in the proportion of students who will admit to cheating on a test when asked by a student than a teacher.
And our second test we did was the chi-squared test for homogeneity. And our null hypothesis was that the distributions were the same when asked on a survey or asked in person. And the alternative was that the distributions were going to be different. And then we did our state plan, do, conclude, and all of that. And in the end, we failed to reject the null hypothesis, which means it may not be true.
Okay, and then probability. We just did 2 little probability questions. We did what is the probability that a randomly selected student will be asked by a student and is a teacher? And there's a 30% chance that a randomly selected student will be asked by a student and be a cheater. And then our other one was, are being asked by a student and saying yes to cheating on a test independent from one another? And we did our math, and therefore cheating on a test and being asked by a student are not independent of each other because of this math.
In conclusion, we surveyed people on whether or not they've cheated on a test, and we wanted to see if people were more likely to be honest and admit to cheating when asked by someone they thought they could trust, like a student, or when it was clearly anonymous on a paper survey, or if they're being asked by an authority figure like a teacher, would they be more inclined to lie and say no, even if they have actually cheated on a test. And after all of our data collection and our tests, we can say that they were more inclined to say no when asked by an authority figure, but at the same time, we don't know if whether or not being asked on survey or in person had a significant difference. So,
Thank you.